Okay, so want to welcome everyone. We're going to be talking today about the criminology and criminal justice degree. My name is Kim Hofgaard, and I teach in the political science department, but I also teach the criminal justice courses that you'll be taking, as well as Dr. Park. I'll let herself introduce.
Hi everyone, my name is Insun Park and I teach predominantly in the criminal justice department and I also teach in the sociology department, and we are excited to introduce this criminology and criminal justice program to you.
So we're going to talk about some of the career options that you have available. So if you can click on the page. So what you can do with this degree, the nice and good and bad thing about the degree is that it is very broad. There are a lot of different areas that you can go into depending on what you're interested in. So if we go to the next slide, you'll see that the one thing about criminal justice is that there's always crime, there's always things happening. And so it's a very bright outlook in regards to careers. It's a high demand area. So when we look at jobs, we can be talking about working with fraud. We can look at counseling, look at substance abuse. We can look at being a probation officer, going on the corrections side of it, as well as looking at law enforcement, crime analyst, the forensic side of it. You can go in a lot of different directions in criminal justice. So if we go to the next slide, our students and graduates, they have careers in a lot of different fields. And one thing that's kind of unique about the program is that when I teach the criminal justice classes, I teach classes in policing and in corrections. And what I find at times is I have students that are in law enforcement and they're taking these classes and they're wanting to go for promotions, or some of them are getting close to retirement. I recently had a lieutenant from a local police department taking one of my classes, and they can bring in a lot of insight to the class about their experience. And so when we look at the careers that where our students have gone, we see that they get into law enforcement. They go into a lot of different ranks and move up within the departments. We have individuals that go into the court side of it. So from lawyers and magistrates, judges, we have the correction side. So you have your corrections officers, your probation, parole officers. We also have the treatment side of it. So we have rehabilitation, prevention specialists. You also see students going into homeland security, risk management, looking at the business industry. So, for example, my background is criminal justice, and prior to getting into teaching, I worked for a retailer, and I did what they called asset protection. So, part of my job was doing investigations on employee theft. So, I got to do everything from investigating registers being short or merchandise being missing, and then identifying who was doing it, and then creating my case against them, and then bringing them in and doing our questioning, getting them to admit to it, um, then documenting what their involvement was, and then going into prosecution. And I was able to testify at grand jury hearings, and I was part of um, some various programs, some diversion programs with some of the employees that had stolen from us. So you can go in a lot of different avenues. So if we look at the next slide, one of the things that we can get into is the federal department, federal agencies. So our federal agencies do have a requirement for a college degree. It is a lengthy process. So if this is something that you are interested in, keep in mind that it will take you at least 6 months, depending on what's kind of going on in the world. Um, so it is going to take some time. But we've had graduates get into the FBI, working with the U.S. Marshals, the DEA, Homeland Security, and various agencies as well. So if you go to the next slide. As I mentioned a little bit ago about my background, the investigative field, you can find investigations in pretty much every avenue of the business world. So you can find it from a court side. You can find credit card companies that are looking for fraud investigations. You have banks that are also doing fraud investigations. You have your average detectives. We also have in the military, there are investigators. You have your businesses that have their own investigators that are looking at crime, whether it's employee theft, or it could also be one of the big things when I was in retail was organized retail theft crime. And so there are groups that actually will travel and steal specific items that they can use a fence for and they can get more money for. And so it becomes a bigger issue. So with investigations, whatever you're interested in, there's an avenue that you can get into. Any job category, you can probably find some type of investigations aspect to it. So if we go to the next slide, you can also get into counseling and social services. So if you're wanting to work with youth, troubled youth that are struggling, that are addicted to drugs, having um, issues at home, human trafficking is a big issue right now going on. We have counseling is a way that you can go, getting into social services. So victim assistance counselors, youth counselors, social services, battered women's counselor, a lot of different areas. And one of the things that we do within our classes is we do have guest speakers. So, for example, in one of my classes, I have Rahab Ministries comes, and they work a lot with human trafficking victims. They even have a house that they've recently built for these victims. And so they come in and they talk about their experience. I had the victim assistance program for Summit County. They come in and talk about what they do, and then they also will let you know if they have internship programs available, if they are looking to hire, and what the requirements are and the expectations. So you can actually see if this is something that you want to do before you even get to that applying for that job later. So it's definitely coming here. You can get a lot of different experiences and talk to a lot of different people and start that networking process. So if we go to the next slide, we talked about the fact that crime is not going away. And so looking at career projections, you can see that for a police officer, you can see the job increase, the number of jobs that's going to be increasing, as well as the average pay. So average pay for police officers is going to vary depending on the area that you're looking at. New York, LA, those kinds of places, you're going to find the cost of living being higher. You're going to also see the pay being higher. You're going to see in smaller departments that the pay might not be as high. It all depends on that area. Corrections officers, bailiffs, as you can see, that's also going to be increasing over the next few years. You can see the average pay being about $40,000 per year for them. We'll go to the next slide. Lawyers that's another career avenue that you can look at. So if you do want to become an attorney, one of the things that is a requirement is you're going to have to go and get a further degree. So you do have to go get your law degree, and you can see on average what the average pay is for that on here. Probation officers, one thing about the state of Ohio that I can speak to is that probation officers, they do require a bachelor's degree to become one. So you can see the average salary on here, as well as the fact that the increase in jobs in the next couple of years. So if we go to the next slide. Another area you can look at is compliance. So we have rules and we have regulations that dictate what we can do with food, with safety protocols, those kinds of things. And so we have to have somebody that is going to enforce that, making sure that licenses and permits are all being abided by. So that is an area that you can go into with this. And as you can see, it is seeing that it is going to be growing. You can see an average wage on here as well. If we go to the next slide. Another area that you can go into with this degree is becoming a crime analyst. So what does that mean? So basically a crime analyst is somebody that likes to look at numbers and data and databases and putting it all together to figure out what's happening in that area. So this, for example, if we have a bunch of robberies happening in an area, we can start tracking that on a map and we can identify if there's a hot spot and where it's occurring, times that it's occurring, so then we can become more proactive, try to prevent that crime from happening and trying to catch the people that are doing those crimes. So we can take all this data and put it together and we can stop and solve crime that way. So that's what a crime analyst is going to do. So you can see the employment average growth is drastically going to be increasing, as well as what the average wage is going to be. So if you go to the next slide. So I'm going to pass it off to Dr. Park to talk about why to come here.
First, at this point, you might have some questions. So watch until the end so that we can give you some contact information if you have any questions. The strength of criminology and criminal justice program at UA is that we offer interdisciplinary program so that you will get exposure to different experiences. We will offer classes from the sociology department, criminal justice department, and political science department so that you will be prepared to get into the jobs that we just described, right? We also have proud in the emphasis of hands-on and real-world experiences. What's experiential learning? It's learning by doing, and you will be involved in working with community organizations, agencies, doing research for them, or getting into volunteering for those agencies, instead of just sitting in the class and just trying to learn by reading textbooks. We also have full-time internship coordinator so that we can place students in the agencies that best fits their career goals. Also, we have Excel Center, EXL Center, and there are some semester-long projects going on in which students are asked to identify the problem in the community and then solve the problem for the communities. It looks really great on your CV, and when you get to the time point when you have to write the application essay for your jobs or grad school, if you have those experiences accumulated in the college, then you won't have to worry about that too much. And last semester, actually, there was a guest speaker from the Federal Criminal Agency, and they said what the question they got from their interview in the job application process was that, what was the biggest hardship you faced in your life? What did you do to overcome? Not the knowledge question, but it was the life experience questions. So if you don't really explore the world and if you don't accumulate experiences beyond your comfortable zone, then your resume does not stand out. And the Criminology and Criminal Justice program at UA can help you get those experiences, as well as accumulating proper knowledge to get the degree. And we also have brand new labs where you can analyze crime data. And last semester, there were classes where students had to obtain the crime data from Akron Police Department, and they analyzed their data while learning about statistic programs and statistics skills from the instructor with the computers equipped with the programs that you can run the data. We also have a combination of faculty who had practical careers in the field, as well as the researchers, so you will get a balanced exposure both to the practical areas and the research. You will learn the academic side of criminal justice as well as practical side of it. One of the faculty members, he spent 30 years as a prosecutor, and we also have a former judge. We also learned that Professor Hofgaard had a practical career, and you will get to learn hands-on directly from them. We also have nationally known scholars who will teach you different theoretical perspectives and research skills. So again, we take a very balanced approach between practice and research and theory, and I think you will like it. It's a good place to be if you are interested in learning from the leaders in political science, sociology, criminal justice, and forensic studies. And our faculty and students get involved in various groups. This facilitates important experience you get as members of the UA community. There's Criminal Justice Association, there's Sociology Club, in which students discuss different social issues. The tradition is to attend annual research conferences as an undergraduate student, and that means you will get to present your research findings in front of professors, graduate students, and undergrad students from other universities. It's an exciting experience. And that's just an example because Criminal Justice Club, Sociology Club, Pre-Law Society, and the Ohio Innocence Project Club will prepare different activities available for you so that you really get the experience outside the classroom. And as the fall semester approaches, we are trying to organize different events, both virtual and face-to-face, so that students still get involved in different activities even though they cannot be present on campus. When you get into the program, then what will you learn? What kind of classes that you will be taking? We have associate degree in criminal justice. There's around 35 students currently there, and then Bachelor of Science program in criminology and criminal justice, and we have over 300 students, which makes us largest major at the University of Akron. And for that reason, the higher administration identified our program as a target of investment because it's continuously growing. There's also a bachelor's degree in criminal intelligence analysis, CIA degree, and we currently have around 60 students in that program. First, you will take core classes, Introduction to Criminal Justice System, Criminal Law, Corrections, Police Studies, Sociology, and Government and Politics in the United States. Those are the core courses that all of the students who are in this program will be required to take. And then we will give you foundations with the foundations courses, Introduction to Research Methods, Social Inequalities, Criminology, Politics of the Criminal Justice System, and then internship. After you get through the foundation courses, then students select an area of concentration, which includes policing, criminology, courts and law, corrections. And if you select one area of concentration, then you will take more classes that is related to that concentration. Again, I'm emphasizing again here that we have the ability to draw from multiple departments. As you see, there's classes from the political science department, classes from the criminal justice department, and classes from the sociology department. If you choose to pursue policing concentration, you will learn about policing theory and strategy, investigation, forensic method, and politics, how it's related to the criminal justice system, and some interesting classes such as profiling or serial killers. Because police does not operate in a random fashion or whatever the leader likes it. There's a theory and scientific strategy behind it, and you will have fun learning about those theories and strategies. Some students want to pursue the theoretical side of crime. Criminology, it's a study of making laws or breaking laws and punishing those who break the laws. Why do people commit crime? Why do people who have strong bonds to the society still do bad things? And how is society treating or helping the victims? That will be covered in the victim and society class. And how do people with mental illness fare in this society? And what do different groups of people engage in different deviant behavior? That will be the subject of sociology of deviant behavior. And these classes will help you analyze a crime from the theoretical perspective. And next, some students want to pursue a legal career, or some people are interested in learning how the legal system operates in relation to the CJ system. There's going to be sociology of law, theory of criminal law, evidence, criminal procedure, courtroom communications, law mediation, and violence. These are the classes that's included in the courts and law concentration. Again, we have faculty who worked as a prosecutor, and we have a former judge. They can speak from their own experience. The last concentration is related to the corrections system. How are drugs in society, how are different groups of people impacted by drugs and drug-related policies? And prisons, those are institutional corrections, and probation and parole. Those are corrections operate in the community level. And women in prison, critical incidents, and mental illness. And one strength of our program, especially in relation to the corrections concentration, is that we have a strong connection with the Oriana House. And if you haven't heard about Oriana House, it's a very large community corrections agency in Northeast Ohio. And we partner with the agency so that we can provide hands-on experience, including facility tour, internship opportunities, and scholarship provided by the Oriana House, and other experience and learning opportunities so that you can accumulate different experiences. You can explore broad issues in the field of corrections. The last one, another bachelor's program that we provide is a CIA degree. Compared to the other major, this is a more analytical and technical degree. You will get to take advantage of the brand new computer lab, and you will have a chance to learn crime analysis at the basic level as well as the advanced level. And some students pursue minor in computer or geographic systems so that they can learn about technical skills, and those skills are really marketable. When you apply to police department or other crime analysis related jobs, those will be really beneficial. And you might wonder, what if you won't be able to take face-to-face classes because of the current situation is not really stable? But we would like to make it clear that you don't have to worry about that, because our program has been offering the online classes for a long time, and we know how to make it happen. Your online classes, it will be the same content, same instructors, same features, and the same quality. And let me give you an example of an online class here. As an online student or as a student at the University of Akron, you will be enrolled in your classes through the learning system called Brightspace. And you will log on to each class and complete assignments and exams as you would in the face-to-face classes. And you will interact with us. You will get in touch with us. You will interact with the faculty and the fellow students through activities or the video assignments, simulation assignments, or other assignments that will engage you. And if you need help, you can meet with your instructors in a live meeting, such as WebEx or Teams or other virtual programs, so that you won't get lost in the online classes. We acknowledge the importance of getting present in online classes, and we maintain the quality in the online classes so that it's not really different from the traditional face-to-face classes. And also we have college level and faculty advisors who will make sure that you are on track. We also have library services that can be also accessible from home if you take online classes. And we have tutoring services available, and there's going to be financial aid services also available. So we really sincerely hope that you will register for our program, and we look forward to having you. And Kim, do you have anything to say to close up?
Just that, as you can see on this last page, the contact information we mentioned about if you had any questions about the program or what you'll be learning or career future, those kind of things. You have contact information here. So you have phone numbers who you can call. You can also gain additional information by going to the program webpage, as well as you can check out the Facebook site as well. And so we look forward to having you and joining us. And I hope you have a great summer and I hope to see you soon. Thanks. Bye.